A jury deliberates Malik Kalou's fate, manslaughter or second-degree murder. Traffic warning.
You have to pay the price, that's all there is to it.
Significant driving disruptions in Leamington. And the end is coming for door-to-door mail delivery.
CTV News with Stefanie Masotti.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us on CTV Windsor and AM 800. Guilty of manslaughter or guilty of second-degree murder. That is what a jury is now deliberating over in the murder trial of Malik Kalou, accused of killing 24-year-old Daniel Squalls in 2022. Again, the decision now lies in the hands of the jury. In Superior Court Tuesday, the defense concluded its arguments, saying this tragic case is of a father fighting for his 6-year-old daughter after she was taken out of the country without his consent. The defense reminded the jury, according to Kalou, moments before the shooting on November 28th of 2022 on Hannah Street, Squalls told him, "I'm her daddy now, and you would never see her again. What are you going to do about it?" That filled Kalou with rage, reacting from then on in a heat of passion, firing 15 gunshots and ultimately killing Squalls. The defense recounts Kalou admits to killing Squalls, but he says there was no intent, therefore asking the jury to find him guilty of manslaughter. As for the Crown, they replayed surveillance video of the men interacting that afternoon up to the first gunshot. At the heart of the issue, the Crown says it comes down to the conversation between the two men before Squalls was shot. They say claims Squalls said, "I'm her daddy now and you will never see her again," while Kalou was pointing his gun did not make sense, arguing those statements were never said. They also noted there was not enough time to exchange those words from the moment Kalou retrieved the gun from his car to the shots being fired. Therefore, the Crown advising the jury Kalou's actions had intent and that he should be found guilty of second-degree murder beyond a reasonable doubt. Both men have a daughter with the same woman. The jury heard the relationship was volatile, with dozens of physical altercations, death threats, and shots fired over the well-being of Kalou's daughter, as there was no custody agreement in place. In other news, a serious two-vehicle collision in Chatham, Kent, has sent one man to hospital with life-threatening injuries. Emergency crews were called to Queens Line Monday afternoon, where a motorcycle and an SUV collided. The 49-year-old motorcyclist was first taken to a local hospital, then airlifted to London. The driver of the SUV was treated at the scene. Police are asking anyone with information to come forward. And staying in Chatham, two men in their 20s and a minor are facing aggravated assault charges. Police here say last Tuesday night around 11:30, a man showed up at the hospital with stab wounds. He was transferred to a hospital in London, where he's now in stable condition. Investigators say the stabbing happened at a home on Alexandra Avenue, and they're continuing to investigate. Also, a gunshot fired during a terrifying home invasion in South Windsor has left residents shaken and police searching for 3 armed suspects. Police say the masked men forced their way into a house on Radisson Court early Sunday, pointing both a shotgun and handgun at victims while demanding cash and valuables. One person was assaulted and another dragged while trying to escape as suspects threatened and struck a victim to gain access to a safe. Investigators say a shot was fired during the ordeal before the suspects fled with money, jewelry, and cell phones in a stolen vintage car. That vehicle, a 1973 red Ford Mustang, was later recovered along with a shotgun and some of the stolen cash. Police believe the attack was targeted and say the Major Crimes Unit is continuing to search for the 3 suspects. You can find a description of the suspects on our website, CTV News Windsor.ca. Canada Post says it's ready to begin discussions on ending door-to-door mail delivery. The Crown Corporation says the change is a step forward to becoming more sustainable. It says it's reaching out to bargaining agents for consultations about proposed changes, which include switching addresses, which still receive delivery at the door to community mailboxes. Following that, Canada Post will then reach out to municipal officials and other stakeholders. Meanwhile, the Canadian Union of Postal Workers has received a statement which reads in part, "This is not the right time to consult. We are fully focused on the upcoming ratification votes. This latest move by Canada Post and the government is yet again another attempt to derail our negotiations process." A ratification vote on a tentative contract agreement with Canada Post is set to be held from April 20th through May 30th. The head of CUPW is urging members to reject it. That takes us to the question of the day. Do you get mail delivered to your door? Go to our website to cast your vote, ctvnewswindsor.ca. Yesterday, we asked if you were noticing less traffic congestion in Windsor. Almost 700 people responded. 86% of them say no, they have not noticed a change. The Windsor-Essex County Health Unit says nearly all secondary school students in the region are up to date on their vaccinations, but as of today, 221 are still suspended. Officials say 99% of more than 20,000 students' records were reviewed, meeting the provincial requirements. The number of suspensions is a significant drop from previous years. Health officials say families can update records or provide exemptions to allow students to return quickly. Meanwhile, 18 elementary students suspended on March 10th remained suspended. Officials are continuing to encourage families to get immunizations up to date. Well, rain is on the way. CTV meteorologist Gary Archibald joins me now for a first look at the weather. Gary.
Stephanie, we've gotten a taste of it already this afternoon. Little bits, dribs and drabs around 3 p.m. in Windsor, for example. But this one front is the trigger for snow well to our north. A bit of a mix of freezing rain, ice pellets through Georgian Bay, the Bruce Peninsula, and steady showers right through the heart of Michigan into southern Ontario and Ohio. Thunderstorm potential, and it's been a gusty day. Still through the next 6 to 7, maybe 8 hours, which takes us into the overnight, and it's going to be cooler and unsettled tomorrow as well. I'll break down the entire weather story for you in moments. For now, I'll send it back to you at the desk.
A joint $8.8 billion spend by the federal and provincial governments to lower development charges is being applauded for the stimulus it could provide to the housing market. But as CTV's Bob Belichico finds out, not all municipalities are jumping at it just yet.
Funding will be prioritized for municipalities that agree to cut DCs by up to 50%.
Over the next 10 years, municipalities have an opportunity to tap into $8.8 billion of funding to lower development charges, but it comes with a catch.
To all my great 444 mayors and people in the municipalities, if you don't cut DCs, you aren't getting any money.
Development charges help municipalities pay for infrastructure like sewers, transit, and roads, but these charges drive up costs.
We know that this added cost at this particular point in time, especially when there's the layer of uncertainty out there, is pausing a lot of development projects from moving forward.
A report due next month focuses on Windsor's ability to freeze development charges.
Getting the project started is good because we know there'll be money coming from the province and the federal government to help support the development charges that we would freeze for this discrete period of time, and then we would be the beneficiary from property taxes in perpetuity.
Windsor Mayor Drew Dilkin says the development charges for the Sandwich Southlands does not play into the equation.
In Windsor, we have two different development charge rates. One development charge rate for the whole city except Sandwich South, and then one development charge rate for the Sandwich Southlands.
Lakeshore Mayor Tracy Bailey tells CTV News without development charges, costs could shift to taxpayers, and a fair balance is needed. In Amherstburg, Mayor Michael Prue is reserving judgment. He says the town is awaiting information from the Association of Municipalities of Ontario to determine what the regulations will encompass. He He said development charges vary across the province and not enough is known about how the Ford government would reimburse individual municipalities.
We mainly focus with commercial and industrial clients. This is really going to help our customers reduce overall charges and reduce government fees on their project.
Local builders are hoping the money comes to fruition.
When we're building projects, we're building factories that provide new jobs. We're doing expansions that provide jobs, or even small commercial areas that have a couple spin-off retail jobs that are great. Like, everything's important.
Bob Belichico, CTV News.
Construction on a new roundabout in Leamington is speeding ahead, but drivers are feeling the squeeze. Seacliff Drive West will face several weeks of closures as crews push to finish the project. Meanwhile, Seacliff Drive East remains shut for an extended period. CTV's Chris Campbell has the latest and reactions from local residents.
Work on this new roundabout at Seacliff Drive West is underway earlier than expected, but as construction ramps up, so are the disruptions for people who live and drive in the area. Donna Jacobs, who lives just steps away, says she's feeling it firsthand.
I'll be glad when it's over because I live 2 doors down.
She says access has already been an issue at times.
As long as they don't block my driveway again, I'm fine.
Starting in mid-April, the road will be closed to through traffic for about 4 weeks with detours in place. Between now and then, Seacliff West will only be open to traffic at night. For some, that's meant longer drives and heavier traffic on nearby streets.
It affects us quite a bit because when we try to get off our little street onto Oak, all the traffic has been rerouted so that it goes east and west on Oak. So it's a bit of a hassle.
Traffic gets backed up, I would say, almost a kilometer at peak times.
Still, many residents say the inconvenience is temporary and worth it in the long run.
We've gotten used to it. It's nice to see that our town is keeping up with the progress and trying to make it safe.
Others see the project as part of bigger growth happening across the community.
It's progress, right? And we can't build new homes. We can't do any of that if we don't have the infrastructure.
Anna Wilds points to increasing traffic as a sign the town is evolving.
Leamington has really been able to do things again because it was on hold for so long after Hines closed. And now Highbury is doing fine. The roads are being fixed. The subdivisions are being built. Elbows up for Leamington.
While not everyone is directly impacted, there's a general sense the project is necessary.
Well, I guess it's got to be done.
It's a good development for the city, for the municipality, and I'm looking forward to the completion of it.
In a release, town officials say we recognize this work will impact travel in the area and appreciate the community's continued patience as we move toward completing this important infrastructure project. For now, drivers are being urged to plan ahead, follow detours, and be patient as construction continues.
I'm sure it'll be worth it.
You have to pay the price. That's all there is to it.
In Leamington, Chris Campbell, CTV News.
Traffic disruptions are ramping up in LaSalle as well as crews push ahead with major storm sewer reconstruction along Front Road. The town says there are now 2 construction teams on site. Drivers can expect added lane restrictions, closures and detours between Beaumanet Avenue and Ream Road. Mayor Crystal Meloche is urging caution, reminding residents to slow down as more people are out enjoying the warmer weather. Despite delays, officials say the $7.9 million flood mitigation project is essential and on track to wrap up this phase by June. News today that the former land agreement for the Ojibwe National Urban Park has been agreed to in principle with Parks Canada. The agreement secures the area for conservation and public enjoyment. Yesterday, City Council unanimously endorsed the agreement, which will now be sent back to Parks Canada for final approval. Community support for the National Urban Park has been overwhelming. Windsor Mayor Drew Dilkins is enthusiastic. The lengthy process to official declaration is within sight, hopefully later this year.
This ought not to be a difficult task now, and certainly Parks Canada has been really great to work with. We've had some wonderful partners around the table. There's a good spirit of cooperation, and I expect we can get this done in the coming months and really realize that dream that we've had for many years now of creating the Ojibwe National Urban Park.
Personal travelers can now get a head start on crossing the new Gordie Howe International Bridge. Registration is officially open for the Breakaway Toll Discount Program. The prepaid program, similar to the Nexpress program at the tunnel, is designed for individuals, families, and commuters. Up to 4 vehicle tags are allowed on a single account. The tags themselves are free, but an initial deposit of $20 is required. Once the bridge opens sometime this spring, $50 will be required. That will be the account's starting balance for future tolls. As an added incentive, the first 1,000 people to register will receive a commemorative hockey card as part of their welcome package. And Windsor's Legacy Beacon and Streetcar number 351 will reopen to the public starting Friday, May 1st. The site closed for the winter in October after drawing more than 27,000 visitors during its first 6-month run. The Riverside Drive site features the restored streetcar, pavilion, and patio space and will reopen with expanded hours and free admission. City officials say a returning vendor will offer snacks and drinks, and new programming, including live music and community events, is being planned to bring more people to the waterfront.
It's really a good opportunity for family and tourists and just residents to come out, like I said, enjoy that beautiful waterfront view, but also come and learn and discover a little bit more about our transportation history within the City of Windsor.
Do you have an idea for a great story? Share it with us. Drop us a text at 10400. You can also send photos and video. Buyback backfire. Millions offered, but only a fraction of guns were turned in. Why critics say the program missed the mark. Later, the enduring legacy of Stephen Lewis, who spent a lifetime fighting for the less fortunate. Start your day with the latest local news. By signing up for our newsletter, you'll get direct local content straight from CTV Windsor to your inbox, including top stories, the forecast, and videos. You can sign up at ctvnewswindsor.ca. We have dramatic video of a smash and grab where a shopper helps take down a suspect east of Toronto. Take a look. One suspect can be seen running and a second restrained in a chokehold. This after they allegedly smashed display cases and used bear spray to try and rob a jewelry store in Oshawa. Their accomplices fled in a car waiting outside, but police chased down all of the suspects, making 5 arrests in all. For one Windsor soccer fan, the dream of seeing Canada's World Cup opener quickly turned into a costly lesson after an online offer for tickets turned out to be a scam. CTV's Adrian Gobriel has his story.
For Canada! The authenticity of Canada's men's soccer team is well documented, yet the lead up to co-hosting the World Cup is now fraught with fraud.
Fraudsters try to capitalize on vulnerabilities. They know that so many Canadians and people outside of Canada want to attend these events.
The Canadian Anti-Fraud Centre confirms they're now working with the RCMP, Vancouver, and Toronto police ahead of this June's World Cup as they work to weed out bad actors across the country and beyond.
I was embarrassed to even tell my wife, and I was actually embarrassed to do this interview, to be fair, because I'm in my 40s, man.
Adonis Ibrahim runs a rec soccer league in Windsor, Ontario. Like many, he's desperate to get his hands on a World Cup ticket. He ended up on Facebook Marketplace, where he shared that he was looking for a single ticket to Canada's opener in Toronto.
Good.
Someone, apparently named Ava Green, sent Ibrahim this message. They agreed on a price of $400, half of which he paid up front. The tickets never arrived.
I was taken advantage of, and I'm doing this because I don't want it to happen to anyone else.
Fans are also being duped into paying for World Cup rental properties that don't exist. Counterfeit merchandise is also on the rise. The Canadian Anti-Fraud Centre is advising individuals to only use FIFA's verified exchange platform for resale tickets. Avoid third-party sites selling tickets and merchandise. For short-term rentals, be cautious if the price appears too good to be true. Use a credit card with fraud protection whenever possible when making a purchase.
Don't get scammed. It's not a good feeling.
With Team Canada preparing to take on the world, Ibrahim has been left still searching for a single ticket to fulfill a lifelong dream. There are still some more affordable, legitimate tickets available for the 2 upcoming friendlies, both in Edmonton and Montreal, before Team Canada officially kicks off its World Cup journey right here at BMO Field on June 12th. Adrian Gobriel, CTV News.
The deadline for the federal government's controversial gun buyback program is today. The Trudeau government banned assault-style firearms 6 years ago, incentivizing people who own them to turn them in for cash. Critics are calling the program a failure. CTV's Judy Trin on where Ottawa goes from here.
The federal government is missing its target for the voluntary gun buyback program on soon-to-be outlawed weapons. $250 million was set aside to compensate gun owners. So far, 57,000 guns have been declared, much less than the 136,000 firearms the federal government expected. The government blames it on misinformation online that overstates the types of firearms that are included.
There's just 2,500 models that were banned. It leaves 19,000 models on the market, so people can still hunt, can still sport shoot.
The ban on 2,500 models of assault-style weapons came after 22 people were killed in a 2020 shooting rampage in Portapique, Nova Scotia. The government is offering to buy back the weapons for $150 up to more than $10,000, depending on the model. But the process is confusing for some.
The average demographic of the owners of these firearms is over 65 years of age, and their ability to navigate online portals is not very good. And they're having a very difficult time adhering to the to the procedures the government's put in place for this.
Alberta and Saskatchewan don't support the federal program, and most police services across the country will not help collect the firearms. The National Gun Lobby is also mounting a legal challenge.
I worry about the enormous waste of resources and efforts on this program that could have instead been focused on reducing crime, violence, gun smuggling.
The ban on assault-style weapons takes effect at the end of October. The Supreme Court of Canada has also agreed to hear the appeal launched by the Canadian Coalition for Firearms Rights, but the court has yet to set a date. Judy Trin, CTV News, Ottawa.
It's not just oil and gas prices hurting consumers. As of April 1st, there will be no relief from a tax on booze. CTV's Rachel Aiello takes us through what we can expect to pay.
Restaurant and bar owners are already feeling squeezed.
There's only so much we could raise pricing. I've had a new menu ready to be rolled out for about a month now.
The coming tax hike on alcohol is typically tied to inflation, but CTV News has learned Ottawa is extending its 2% cap on it for 2 more years.
I'm glad it's not going more than 2%.
The April 1st increase is estimated to generate millions, coming on top of the revenue boost the government is getting from high gas prices. Asked today if the Prime Minister is considering cutting taxes for Canadians in return, Mark Carney wouldn't say.
We'll have a fiscal event in the spring with the spring update, and that would be the right time to fully answer that question.
The cap is meant to stabilize costs ahead of a busy tourist season. But for those planning to travel abroad, as of today, you'll also be paying more for a new passport. For applications within Canada, the cost of a regular 10-year adult passport has jumped $3.50. A 5-year adult passport costs $2.50 more, and a 5-year child's passport now costs $1.50 more. This is the first increase in passport fees since 2013.
By increasing costs on travel documents like a passport, it makes it harder to get to our destination, and this has an impact on tourism.
And this may not be the end of price increases. The federal government, under what's called the Service Fees Act, says it will now be updating certain prices annually based on inflation. Rachel Aiello, CTV News, Ottawa.
We are just 24 hours before the next launch window opens for the Artemis II mission that will blast 4 astronauts, including a Canadian, around the moon and back. The team spent the day doing a number of final checks to the spacecraft, which will soon embark on a 10-day mission around the moon. The astronauts, including Canadian Jeremy Hansen, remain in quarantine, waiting for tomorrow's planned launch. The launch window opens at 6:24 p.m. and while officials say there is an 80% chance of favorable weather, high winds and cumulus clouds are 2 things NASA's weather officer says he is watching for. Meanwhile, NASA is unveiling ambitious plans for space exploration, including a moon base by the year 2030.
I think of this as just the opening chapter in a grand story of astronauts going to and from the moon with great frequency.
King Charles is set to visit the United States next month. The king last met with the U.S. President Donald Trump in the UK in September. Buckingham Palace says the trip in late April is to celebrate the 250th anniversary of American independence and to mark the special relationship between the U.S. and the UK. The king will also travel to Bermuda as a planned part of his trip. Strength in the base metal and technology sectors helped Canada's main stock index surge today. In Toronto, the TSX gained 833 points. In New York, the Dow added 1,125 and the Nasdaq is up 796. In Toronto, the TSX lost 0.07 of a cent. On commodity markets, gold gained more than $121 an ounce and oil fell $1.50 a barrel. Coming up, why some say kids and seniors may need to stay indoors every other summer day in the future.
Let's look at our CTV News weather snapshot. Thanks to Silvio Carlini for this dynamic sky photo. If you've got one, shoot it. Or shoot one that's horizontal and good for TV like this. Just look up. You might see some showers and thunderstorms, maybe some gusty wind. We'll break it down for you next on CTV News Windsor.
Discussion here at Windsor City Hall.
Windsor's top stories.
A major project is about to get underway.
Breaking news alerts.
Severe weather is a possibility.
And watch live.
Good evening and thank you for joining us.
Download the CTV News app.
Cloudy out there. Gary joins me again for an extended look at the forecast. Gary.
Yes, looking at that photo, very gray and got even darker in terms of the grayness across the region. Say around 3 o'clock is forecast. We knew late in the day, or at least the afternoon, we were going to start to see some light shower activity. We are seeing vicinity thunderstorm activity in extreme southeastern Michigan into southern Ontario now, and some steady rain. It was very warm today, near 24 degrees Celsius, still about 2 degrees shy of a record. So no record for Windsor, Essex, but well above seasonal. Air quality is decent under cloudy conditions, and yes, it has been a windy day, especially as that gust front moved through. We'll still be looking at gusts in that 40 to 60, maybe 65 range between now and 10 p.m. Tomorrow is also a windy day, but much cooler. We'll talk about that in just a moment. And once the cold front sweeps through, the leading edge of that trigger, if you will, with the warmer ahead of it, you can see that Windsor's cooled off down to 18. Chatham-Kent's warmer at around 19 to 20 degrees within the town's limits. We are colder in northern Ontario, northern Quebec, into Newfoundland, Labrador. The warmest areas are certainly in southern Ontario for the entire country, and the prairies are still in the minuses. We are looking at scattered showers, thunderstorm activity, a nasty line of thunderstorms. The worst of it's moving over northern parts of Ohio, thank goodness, but Pelee Island getting hit this afternoon with some scattered showers and thunderstorm activity. It looks like we are cooling off. That cold front's already started to induce that cooler air, cold enough that temperatures will be below the double digits for a daytime high. But we are contending with rain this hour through to at least 10, maybe 11, as mentioned, and still quite windy. Here's the breakdown for tonight. Through 8 o'clock, I still have to mention that there's a slight risk of thunderstorm activity. The probability of rain showers is relatively high. The thunderstorm activity isn't as high as the possibilities of getting wet, but it remains. Take a look at our Intercarousel 7-day forecast. Only 8 degrees tomorrow, but rainy through the afternoon and windy. Then 16 in showers Thursday, Friday, Good Friday, 24, then 19 on Saturday, showers on Easter, Sunday 6, then 8 and sunny Monday. That's Easter Monday, Tuesday 7. That is a bit of a swing in terms of temperatures.
One Canadian province is changing the way it approaches one of the most common forms of cancer, colorectal cancer, lowering the screening age from 50 to 45. The move lands in the middle of a broader national push to expand eligibility with the hope of earlier detection. Here's CTV's Maria Saru.
PEI's top health officials say the province is leading the country in lowering the colorectal cancer screening age.
Waiting till 50 is no longer an option. It's just not enough.
Starting today, Islanders aged 45 to 74 at average risk will now be eligible for a fecal immunochemical test, or FIT for short, every 2 years. It's an at-home tool that can detect early signs before symptoms appear. The Canadian Cancer Society has asked all provinces and territories to make the change, citing rising rates among younger adults.
Particularly those under the age of 50 are 2 to 2.5 times more likely than previous generations to be diagnosed with colorectal cancer.
Challenges include expanding lab capacity and access to follow-up colonoscopies. But the province says it's ready.
Each year, PEI sees about 140 new colorectal cancer cases and 39 deaths. These aren't statistics, they are our neighbors, our friends, and our loved ones.
It won't just save lives, but it'll also save money, according to experts.
What we found is that over the next 45 years or so, we can save in Canada over 6,000 lives and about $233 million to the healthcare system.
Last week, the Nova Scotia Liberals tabled a bill to do the same, writing in a news release that colorectal cancer is the third leading cause of cancer deaths in Canada.
The call from cancer advocates is for other jurisdictions to lower their starting age, but also for eligible people to actively participate by filling out these forms and mailing in these tests. Maria Saru, CTV News, Charlottetown.
A new COVID-19 variant that's been found in other countries, including the United States, is now officially in Ontario. It's called BA 3.2. It was first identified in South Africa in the fall of 2024 and first detected in the U.S. last summer. Since then, it's turned up in 25 states and at least 23 countries. Now, 21 infections have been found in Ontario since the beginning of this year. Now, while the variant is new, infectious disease experts say it doesn't change how COVID is diagnosed and treated. A University of Waterloo study is outlining how North American air quality could deteriorate by the end of the century unless steps are taken to address climate change. The study, which focuses on the U.S., suggests 1 in 3 Americans could be breathing unhealthy summer air by 2100 if no action is taken. That represents a 7-fold increase compared to the start of this century. In a worst-case scenario, the study says that young children, the elderly, and other sensitive groups could be alerted to stay inside every other summer day. What's real and what's fake online? Coming up, a deepfake of Mark Carney is fooling Canadians, how you can spot the warning signs. One of Canada's most well-known human rights advocates has died after a battle with cancer. For more than 2 decades, a former Ontario NDP leader, Stephen Lewis, worked with the United Nations to draw attention to the severity of the AIDS epidemic in Africa and around the globe. He was 88 years old. CTV's Amy Bergeron-Oliver has more on his life and his legacy.
A passionate and determined humanitarian, Stephen Lewis never hesitated to speak his mind.
What kind of a world do we live in where the life of an African child or an Asian child is worth so much less than the life of a Canadian child?
After dropping out of law school in the 1960s, Lewis moved to Africa and became a lifelong advocate for the region, committed to improving the lives of those struggling through the HIV and AIDS epidemic.
You witness it, and you experience a kind of simultaneous spasm of helplessness and anger and resolve.
His dedication led to more than 2 decades with the United Nations, serving in positions from Canada's UN ambassador to deputy director of UNICEF.
Congratulations.
And a UN special envoy for AIDS in Africa.
I cannot remember in my entire adult life scenes of such unendurable human desolation. It was heartbreaking.
Lewis was immersed in politics from a young age.
There isn't a law on the statute books of this country that doesn't carry the imprint of the CCF and the NDP.
His father, David Lewis, served as the National Secretary of the Canadian Commonwealth Federation, or CCF. When his dad was leading the federal New Democrats, he was leading the party in Ontario. And decades later, just days before his death, Lewis's son Avi would go on to become the federal NDP leader.
There's something almost quaint in the Russians investigating the NDP.
His debating skills, compassion, and his honesty gained him widespread respect at home and abroad.
What we have been suggesting is an agenda of work for Ontario, an agenda of work which implies a shared government and a shared leadership which the people of this province seem to be conveying to the politicians.
A life of leadership that will live on through the continued work of the Stephen Lewis Foundation, a nonprofit that since 2003 has helped provide care for women, children, and communities suffering from AIDS and HIV.
I was clobbered by the carnage of the pandemic that I was witnessing in Africa and desperate to do something about it in a concrete way. And thus the foundation was formed.
A legacy of bringing attention to the plight of those less fortunate and forgotten. Annie Bergeron-Oliver, CTV News, Ottawa.
With an influx of false, misleading videos circulating online, it's becoming increasingly difficult to decipher whether videos are real or fake. CTV's Adrian Gobriel now in the battle between truth and misinformation.
I'm encouraging you to register for our online program.
This fake AI-generated video of Prime Minister Mark Carney pitching an investment opportunity has lured an untold number of Canadians. It was created by doctoring this actual Canada Day message.
And reinvest in our armed forces.
It's just a drop in an ocean of false, misleading videos created by using AI, circulating online.
It's a fundamental challenge to our shared understanding of reality.
The boundaries of reality are being tested with alarming frequency since the war in Iran began. This fake video, recently shared by thousands, claimed that Iranian drones caused this damage in Dubai. This phony footage showing Iranian bombs raining down on Tel Aviv was reposted on Elon Musk's X social media site, with the platform's AI chatbot Grok telling users that yes, this is authentic footage from Tel Aviv, even though it wasn't.
This is going to become an issue across virtually every scope of life as our information ecosystem continues to fragment and people will pick and choose aspects of reality that they choose to believe.
Hi, Donald John Trump.
Those increasingly in charge of the information highway are a small group of tech leaders, many of whom were front and center at President Donald Trump's 2025 inauguration.
When we think about challenges to Canadian sovereignty through sponsoring various separatist movements, I think we need to be thinking about the potential exposure that Canadians have to American malign forces.
Since August 2023, Meta removed all Canadian news from Facebook and Instagram in response to the Online News Act that requires platforms compensate news publishers for profiting off their content. Filling the gap on Meta, a proliferation of posts masquerading as fact-based news. CTV News asked Meta about the perceived threat to Canadian sovereignty posed by divisive, misleading posts on its site. They didn't respond, though we did track down Canada's Minister of Identity and Culture.
It's creating an atmosphere that is very unhealthy.
Ottawa has shared that discussions with Meta to lift the news block are ongoing. This at a time when deciphering fact from fiction online grows more challenging by the hour.
Those we spoke with believe the best line of defense against all forms of misinformation is education and civic engagement to ensure that Canada has an accurately informed electorate. Adrian Gobriel, CTV News, Toronto.
The U.S. Army is investigating after Kid Rock posted this video online showing him saluting and clapping Apache helicopters hovering outside his Nashville home. The outspoken Trump supporter wrote "God bless America" and criticized California Governor Gavin Newsom, a Democrat. Military spokesperson said the helicopters were following a training route in the area. The Windsor Essex Sportspersons of the Year, or WESPY Awards, will be announced next month. Today, the nominees were unveiled. Nicole Coffey and Ben Bockwell are this year's Nobby Knudsen Volunteer of the Year award winners. The St. Clair women's soccer team, University of Windsor's men's volleyball team, and the Windsor Selects junior baseball team all had standout seasons and are all up for Team of the Year. Both the female and men athletes of the year categories are packed with great performers.
It's about the athletes and teams, and I'm excited for them. I think they get excited. The reaction we get from the athletes is phenomenal, and that's what's really exciting about all of this. The speaker adds to it, but it's really about the athletes and teams.
This is your CTV Windsor, our community calendar. The St. Clair Center for the Arts transforms into the ultimate happy hour with the first ever Hatsquarade for healthcare. Every dollar raised helps purchase priority equipment for our hospital. See you next time on Our Community.
It's time to check in on what's happening now with Melanie Kentner. Now, Melanie, there are changes in the works for the special events bus.
That's right, Stephanie. So this is the Link bus, not the one that used to be operated by the city. Like everywhere else, costs are going up. The Link Tunnel Bus special events route is going to cost more money as of Wednesday, April 1st. A post on the company website indicates the one-way fare is going from $15 to $19. They say it's because of rising fuel and toll costs. Now, we've got those details and more online at ctvnewswindsor.ca.
And we also have a story online, Melanie, about the number of crashes involving Windsor police cruisers.
Yeah, so police say there's been an increase in the number of incidents, but a decrease in the cost of the damage. The Fleet Collisions and Damage Summary Report for 2025 shows there were 63 collisions or damage incurring incidents, a 12% increase compared to 2024. However, there was a drop in both total costs incurred and cost per incident, down to $190,000 and $3,100 respectively. And in our social spotlight tonight, a funny moment at a press conference with Doug Ford and Mark Carney.
Almost drank your water. Did you have a sip of that?
I didn't touch it.
Okay, I'll take a sip. This isn't going to turn me into a liberal, is it?
So yeah, Ford double-checked to make sure he wasn't about to drink the Prime Minister's water, and of course joked about it, and both leaders had a good laugh over that joke, and the internet loved it, Stephanie.
Of course they did, obviously from two different parties, so it's nice to see them joke around and of course make announcements like these.
Yeah, exactly. It looks like they're finding a way to have a good time.
Okay, thank you, Melanie, and that's what's happening now. Celebrating 100 years of compassion. When we return, how a limited edition wine is helping animals in need. You described it perfectly, Gary. Gray out there today. I know a lot of people are really looking at your forecast. Obviously, Good Friday, a lot of people have it off, spending time with the family, and then the Easter Bunny.
Well, the Easter Bunny is going to get wet. Yeah, I called it. It's going to happen. Accept it. That's what I'm talking about today. I'm very serious about it, adamant about it. Temperatures are up. Rain is happening now, thunderstorm in the vicinity, and more to come later tonight. Tomorrow will be cooler, no complaints. Cold front's responsible for it. Showers on Thursday. Friday, Good Friday, off up to 24, still rainy for the weekend. Unfortunately, parents, you'll have to make some plans to be indoors for the Easter bunny egg hunt. I know you can do it.
Okay, thank you, Gary.
You're welcome.
Michelle, you have a couple of things that you're focusing on for tonight's 11 o'clock newscast.
Yeah, absolutely. There are two gatherings happening this evening in Windsor, and both are for very different reasons. It is a sold-out crowd over at the Caboto Club today for World Cup soccer action. We'll bring you the highlights of today's contest between Italy and Bosnia-Herzegovina. And then later this evening, local Conservatives are hosting a meeting about their concerns with Canada's Bill C9. We'll tell you if Windsorites share those concerns. All that, plus, of course, your most up-to-date local weather forecast tonight at 11.
Thank you. And we end tonight with a meaningful partnership, raising both glasses and support for animals in need. Pelee Island Winery has launched a limited edition collection of wines to celebrate 100 years of the Windsor-Essex County Humane Society. The collection features 3 custom-labeled wines, a Cabernet Merlot, Chardonnay, and sparkling Prosecco, each bottle designed to honor a century of animal welfare in the community. Officials say every purchase really does make a difference. $1 from each bottle sold will go directly towards vital programs, including animal rescue, rehabilitation, and outreach services. Lynette Bain, Executive Director of the Humane Society, says the milestone is a powerful reminder of what compassionate communities can achieve. The winery says the partnership gives customers a meaningful way to give back while celebrating a local organization that has supported animals for generations. The limited edition wines are available now at retail locations and online. It's great to see partnerships like this.
Yeah.
And I think there's going to be a lot more of them as the year goes on, right? Because that's a big year for any, advocacy group, charity, nonprofit. That's a long time to be in operation. So good for
And
them.
all of those cats and dogs there are fully behind this project, I can assure you.
Yes. Okay. On behalf of our dedicated team here at CTV News Windsor, thank you for watching.
For updates throughout the evening, go to ctvnewswindsor.ca.
Gary and I will be back with your only late local newscast tonight at 11.
Good night.
See you then.